Hello? I can't figure out how to get my audio to turn on, so sorry if I'm over talking. I can't hear anyone. Um, so I'll let you guys just get on with it. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Hi, I'm here. I'm just playing around with some settings.
Oh, there you are. Huh. Oh my God. Okay. I'm keeping my camera off, but I was having problems with my audio and I was like, what am I doing? Okay, so you can hear me. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, if I could have everybody go on silent until the end,
okay.
that would be awesome. Yes.
Hey, I do want to ask if it's all right. I may just because I use text to speech and I type really slow and I'm having to use audio to, hear what I'm typing. So what I might do is just kind of save questions and then like check with you later. Is that okay with you?
Ask questions later? Uh, yeah,
Did you?
yes. I
Yeah.
would prefer people would hold their questions for after.
Okay. I'll go mute then.
Thank you. Okay, so let me see my stuff. I'm just gonna wait a couple more minutes to see if anybody else is gonna come in and then we can get started. Okay, so um for anybody who is going to be coming in and watching this later, and you're not one of somebody that knows me, my name is Sarah, and I have been doing energy work since 2016 for other people since about 2018. So I have some experience with Reiki and some modalities that I kind of improvise on my journey. And I just want to talk about those things today in this workshop, how Reiki is really the beginning of the healing journey. Like some people, they get into Reiki and they get one, two, and three on masters, and maybe they go into teaching, but they don't really step into what's after Reiki. And it's so important to know that the possibilities are limitless once you tap into the ways that you can create change and healing in somebody and in your world using energy work. So I'm going to talk about all of that today. I'm going to share my screen and then shrink myself out. I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm so glad you've made it. And if I could ask that you guys stay muted until the end, I am going to answer questions at the end. Um, in the chat, if you don't feel comfortable coming on video, it's fine, or on video. And this is a private Zoom meeting, so whoever comes in will see it. I am gonna send it to the other people who signed up if they can't make it. So there's like no more than like 50 people who will see this. So I mean, if you're shy, don't worry about that. So yeah, I'm gonna share my screen and let's get started. I know there's some people that message me and like, I can't make it. And it's like, that's fine. We watch it later. Okay. Shrink myself here. I actually got to thinking about, I don't know if I can put 50 people in Zoom. I have to look at the limit. Okay. So Reiki is only the beginning. That is the fucking truth. That's where it started for me, but that is only where it started. So, oh my goodness, I need to shrink this here somehow. Hold on. There we go. Put you over here. Okay. So I'm not going to get too deep into what Reiki is. If you're here in this workshop, most likely you know what Reiki is, and you possibly have your Reiki attunements and all that. So I'm not really going to get deep into what it is. And if you would like, if you don't know, and if you'd like to research more about exactly what Reiki energy healing is, what it does, all that stuff, you can look that up. There's a bunch of information on the internet about it, but the founder is Mikao Usui. I can't say his name. He's a Japanese Buddhist monk and a scholar. And there's a story about how he discovered it in 1922 by going up a mountain and having visions. And he said he received the ability to channel. It was like 21 days of meditation, supposedly, on this mountain. And I say supposedly because the story is kind of like, did that happen? That really happened. It kind of sounds like a guy being like, "Oh yeah, I went 21 days up there," you know, kind of exaggerating a little bit. I don't know, but that's just my nature to kind of question stuff like that. But he said he meditated for 21 days on Mount Kurama, uh, and he came down with the ability to channel healing energy. And supposedly he healed somebody's toe, or no, he healed his own toe that like snapped when he was going down the mountain. And anybody that knows Reiki knows that Reiki doesn't necessarily heal broken bones. So it's kind of where the story gets a little bit less believable. But but in it he did get this healing energy, and he went on to use it in several different practices and throughout his time. Yeah. And so that's the story of Mikao Usi in a very short description here. So my experience with Reiki, I want to talk a little bit about my beginning experiences with this particular energy. It was 2016. I got my Reiki attunements one, two, and three, uh, 2 weeks apart, I believe. It was actually my brother that gave me the attunements, and he did it like the traditional way, with the symbols and all that stuff. And immediately, like after my first attunement, I was really moving through a bunch of blocked energy, and I felt more enlightened, if you will, and understanding the universe and how it works and how energy works. It when you get Reiki, it kind of downloads a bunch of information and you just start to know things that you didn't know before, and you're like, wow, this is eye-opening. And so that started happening to me. Of course, I had some interesting experiences with, like body aches and things like that, because I was not working with energy at the time at all. I was a total, I don't want to say total human, because it does kind of feel like you change, your body changes and your energy changes and it expands and it grows when you get a Reiki attunement. Like it's crazy how much you shift and change. You don't feel like the same person at all. You don't think like the same person. And you I started to shift into realizing things about my life that I didn't like, particularly my job, and like noticing and sensing energy more. So I would notice negative energy more. Notice my own negative energy as it was purging out. I would notice other people's negative energy. I was more like repelled by certain people in certain situations that before I may have been like, oh, this is fine and this is normal, but it was not. Like I worked in a mental health job, and um, it wasn't unusual for us to just get screamed at every day. And where that did irritate me before, it was a different kind of irritation, where it was more like, I don't fucking deserve this. And I would say stuff like that. And the other workers, they would be like, oh, this is part of the job. We have to put up with it. You gotta toughen up. You gotta get some tougher skin. They would say stuff like that when I'm just like, I don't deserve this. I don't need this in my life. Like this is not making me happy. Like those thoughts started to happen when before I was kind of a disassociated with myself and my emotions, and how being screamed at every day kind of even made me feel like I thought it was okay. And so I started shifting out of that, and also like the negative mindsets of my clients and of the other workers there, like some of the other workers. I mean, it was just I didn't fit in anymore. And it was blatantly obvious. And it would make me angry because it's kind of like that friction feeling going through you. You feel friction. When you start to feel that friction, I mean, something's not entirely aligned with you. And um, I would just get really upset and mad. And of course I would judge myself for it, be like, oh, this is my job. This was my job forever. Why am I so upset now? Why is this bothering me now? And like all those things that I had to work through, um and move through emotionally. And I did end up doing Reiki for other people, and I dabbled a little bit in tarot cards, which I don't really care for tarot that much today. I don't do much with it. It just really wasn't for me. And so like opportunities started opening up and my mind started opening up and be like, wow. And like the knowing that I was meant to just do something amazing. I'm like, holy shit, this is why I didn't like college. This is why I would go through the list of subjects in college, degrees and stuff, and be like, no, I don't want to do any of this shit. Like, it's because it's not because I was lazy um or just not wanting to do anything. It's because it just wasn't aligned with me. And the thing that was most aligned with me, which is helping people, was in mental health. And that was something that I stayed at and did for a long time because it was more aligned with me than some other things. But then it just stopped after a while. I couldn't take it anymore. Um, so I started working because I'm like, okay, and I started digging into astrology and really working, seeing what exactly am I meant to do, what exactly am I meant to be. So it was a huge move into self-exploration. And I, like, according to my astrology chart, I do best when I'm self-employed. And like, oh, okay, so I'll start a business. And like it all kind of went from there. The healing aspect of things didn't really take off and change and mold until several years later. Like I was just doing Reiki and like working with spirits and stuff. It would open up different, it would unlock like other abilities and I noticed I was able to do and I'm like, okay, oh wow, I could do this. So what is that? Oh, I need to take that out of the person. And like it kind of working with clients is really what opened all this up. Okay, but and then I discovered that there was so much more to Reiki healing than just flowing energy into somebody. Like that is fantastic. That's wonderful. And I use it in my services today all the time. But it's like at the end. It's like the patching up. Um, so there that was kind of how I developed this stuff was like working with spirits and them being like, oh hey, you could do this. And I'm like, oh no shit. Kind of discovering different abilities like remote viewing and like clairvoyance and knowing and things like that that really enhanced, advanced my healing techniques into what it is today. So yeah. So Reiki is really a great tool for emotional healing and some physical healing. I'd never seen it fix somebody's toe like the founder had claimed. Like I've never seen it do anything like that. And if you have, do let me know. But I have never personally seen it heal somebody that dramatically physically. I'm not saying that it can't, and I'm not saying that somebody can't, but there's some other forces involved. There's some other energy involved if that does happen. Okay. And Reiki is a good beginner baseline for a healer. Like I said, when I was starting out, that's what I started out in, and that's how you learn. Um, that's how you learn along the way, and things kind of unlock for you, and you discover things about yourself. You discover things about energy. You learn how to manipulate it. So the baseline was Reiki for me. That's where it all started. It enhances your psychic abilities quite a bit. I remember when I got my even my first Reiki attunement, I started seeing people's auras and like see the glow around them. And I kind of saw that before. If people were standing against a white background, I would see that and like, okay, yeah, that's their aura. I couldn't really see the color, but then I started seeing it and the colors, and also just being able to see remote viewing, it increased a lot. Also, then knowing and the connection with yourself increases. And that's one of the more dramatic changes for when you get Reiki. It opens up your energy meridians, and it helps you hold energy in your body, channel energy through your body. And so you develop more power, more voltage, and you're able to run through your body, basically. And may cause an awakening of sorts. Yeah, it's going to cause an awakening. You're gonna be like, what the fuck am I doing? This isn't who I am. Like it's yeah. Can be enhanced with other tools. Yeah, they will get into those tools in a minute. But the other tools are like your psychic abilities and your energy body and those things. Okay. The other tools that you can use along with Reiki are other attunements. I have a few clients in my Astro Mastery class who have had, I think one lady said that she had like 90 something attunements because she was she was just like so excited about getting them. You know, that rush of energy. I don't know if you've had attunements, you kind of have that rush and that burst of psychic energy. I think it was kind of an addiction to that. And, and really just trying to advance their power and increase their body voltage for holding energy and moving energy. Like that, you can get other attunements, and there's a lot of practitioners who will craft attunements that they got from spirits or that they made themselves, and they are really effective for whatever they're crafted for. Working with spirits is a very good way to advance your healing practices very quickly because spirits themselves are healing beings. A lot of them, even like the death ones, it's like healing. Death is transformation. Transformation is healing. Like in the darker entities, they are healers. Their energy heals you in one way or another. Okay. And you can transfer that onto your clients or onto your family or onto yourself when you need it. Healing sessions can be enhanced using the new psychic abilities you have received from getting attuned. Yep. It's uh it's really like a creativity thing because you're like, oh, this is I got this energy. What can I do with this? And you can create things with it and craft things with it. And like that's what you get when you step into understanding energy, how it works, and really having confidence in yourself. That's the big thing, is having confidence in yourself. Because a lot of the clients that I get are so gifted, they're so fucking talented, and the one thing that they're lacking is just confidence in their abilities to move energy, to heal, and to craft attunements. And it's like, you guys, you already can do this. And they just kind of need um, that little, boost. Clairvoyance, psychic abilities for healing and how to use them. Clairvoyance. Clairvoyance can be used to see blockages, parasites, or implants. See images of what's going on for a client. Knowing some symbology is helpful. So clairvoyance is like when you can remote view. So you like shut your eyes and you could see images in your mind. ADHD people are fantastic at this. Autistic people are fantastic at this, seeing images in their minds, and they're pretty much half in, half out of the energy world all of the time. I did notice that they have a particular gift for this, whereas more normal people have to try a little bit harder, but it can be done. So seeing the symbology, um, that comes with more like changing things in the astral and stuff. But it can be used to see blockages, parasites, or implants. Parasites, I'm going to talk about too. Implants, I'm going to talk about here later in the slides. Um, but clairvoyance is great for getting rid of those. And these two, clairvoyance and knowing, are really probably the psychic abilities that I use the most. And intuition kind of links into the knowing. But those are the ones that I use the most when I do my work and my clients. Like those are the big ones. So if you have these, you can do everything that I do, like easy. Um, and if you have other psychic abilities, like the clairsentience feeling, um, what are the other clairs? There's like, but there's a bunch of them, right? If you have those, you can also do healing. You have to be creative and figure out exactly how that works for you because it does vary from person to person. Your healing sessions are not going to look like my healing sessions. When you heal yourself or your family, it's not going to look like when I heal myself and my family. So don't put yourself in a box and be like, oh, I have to do it exactly how Sarah does it or whoever. Like that's not going to be helpful for you. You gotta really tap into your creativity and listen to your intuition um, to put together the different healings that you can do. Yeah. Blockages. You can remove blockages as a healing. So blockages can be curses, hexes, bindings, thought forms. Curses, hexes, and bindings are pretty self-explanatory. Um, and these are ones that you can put on yourself as well. Like so the people that I work with that tell me, oh, I'm cursed, I'm hexed, or I have a binding. And well, it's not like somebody did that to them. Sometimes we do that to ourselves. And like I would say, let's say like 92% of people that tell me they have a curse or a hex or a binding or an attachment bothering them, it's something that they create themselves because people are so powerful. You don't know how powerful you are. And if you are powerful and not self-aware of the energy, you're not aware of your energy, you're not aware of the energy around you, it can be very dangerous because you can accidentally create curses, hexes, bindings, and especially thought forms that will attack you because you're attacking yourself because there's some part of you that hates you. So we won't get too deep into that, but you can absolutely. Most of these are yourself attacking yourself. Trapped energy, you can have energy trapped in your body. Generational curses. This is like not necessarily somebody cursed your family line back, your great 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 grandfather. That's not what that means, although it can be that. However, a generational curse can also be emotional abuse or physical abuse, or every woman in the family gets pregnant at 15. Like it's a reoccurring pattern in your family as a generational curse. And us as witches and magicians, we are healing ourselves. We are healing that generational curse. And you can heal that with healing energy for other people and for yourself and for your kids. For your kids, okay, you heal that stuff and your kids feel it too because it's generation, it's ancestral, it goes deep. Trapped emotions, it's yeah, trapped energy and trapped emotions are pretty close to the same thing. Bottled up emotions, definitely. Um, those are usually kept in your stomach when you just kind of shove it down. Astral sludge. Astral sludge is just black stuff that I find in people's stomachs that has to do with trapped emotions, trapped energy, and bottled up emotions that they shove down into their gut to forget. So they kind of go from the head to the heart and then it leaks down to the stomach and then it turns into this black sludgy stuff. I see that all the time because many times we don't know how to process our emotions and we disassociate and our emotions get stuck in our bodies. Unconscious fears. Yeah, we can remove unconscious fears with and Reiki is actually pretty good at that. Just doing Reiki helps bring up unconscious fears and be like, oh my gosh, I had Reiki yesterday. Now I have so much anxiety today. It's like, yeah, that shit's coming out of your body, man. That's coming out of your emotional body and surfacing so that it can process out. And then the next day, you're going to feel a million times better. You're going to be more relaxed and have less unconscious fears. There are other ways to remove unconscious fears by going into the astral and literally reprogramming things, but I'm not gonna get too deep into that right now. um, and like meditations and stuff to remove those because they're unconscious. We don't, it's hard to find them. Like you can't find them. They're unconscious. You don't even know they're happening. So like having somebody else point them out to you is good, or going into like a meditative state and removing those through energy work and astral work helps take those out. And blockages may cause stagnation, poor health, trauma loops. And when I say trauma loops, I mean like kind of like PTSD when you are in a constant trauma loop of blame, shame, and depression, things like that, and then like replay in your head over and over again. Events that replay in your head. Bad luck. Yeah, because if your energy is gross, then you could attract gross things. Death. Absolutely, you can die from any of these things. And a big one is suicide because people cannot handle all of their trapped emotions, astral sludge, unconscious fears, even cursing themselves to they may end, want to end their own life. Poverty can, yes, poverty is a blockage. We all have the capability to not live in poverty, but we make unconscious choices to sabotage ourselves into being poor. And it's kind of a vicious cycle. And anxiety and depression are kind of the obvious ones here. I don't know if there's anything else here I left out. Stagnation, poor health. Yes, that's pretty much it. So I want to talk a little bit about parasites. And these are energetic parasites. They're everywhere in the astral. Like if you've ever woken up and you were half asleep and you saw like a spider crawling on your wall, like that that's kind of where the beginning was for me, is seeing these things is when I was like either in a meditative state or just waking up from sleep, and I could see these things crawling on the wall, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And of course you Google it and it's like, oh, it's just a hallucination of your mind. And it's not a hallucination. These things are very, very real, and they don't cause a whole lot of problems unless there's a bunch of them. So they like to feed off you in your sleep a lot of the time. And they're like energetic bug creatures. Um, and they will feed off you in your sleep. The energy that they take is not significant a lot of the time, but if you're like waking up and you're still tired, odds are you have quite a few parasites because they will live inside your body too. But that's like only one type of parasite. You can also have thought form parasites, personal vampires, which are people, attachments, entanglements from the past or now. I think we all know um, vampiric people can suck your energy. Rando spirits walking by, they can be like walking through and be like, oh, I'm just going to zap this person. It's really important to have wards in your house. But yeah, people in your life, you really got to be aware of the people in your life and who's draining your energy. They are parasites, I'm sorry to say, even if they don't know it. It's not really their fault because they have kind of like a spiritual anemia in a way. So they will latch onto you and suck all your energy out, and you might really feel tired around that person. Those are um, the parasitic people, and it is curable. Like as long as they notice that it's happening and they take the steps to stop. But a lot of the times they can't because of their trauma, or they just don't want to admit that they're the problem, or you know. You can also be vampirized by unintentional thought forms. So from fear. Oh, I think I meant to write that they will feed off of fear. So you can accidentally create thought forms that vampirize you and attack you. I have seen this before. People like, I'm being attacked, da, 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 da. And then I do a thought form removal and they're like, oh, it's gone. Like, okay, well, that was probably something that you created. You might want to dig deep into maybe why you created this unintentionally, um, to attack you because you can, it's like your psyche can split off in the astral and kind of do its own thing, right? And some of them do feed off of fear. So some of the bug parasites that I was talking about, they can be in the form of any kind of bug, slugs. I see a lot of slugs, like huge ones. I don't mean like little tiny ones. I mean like they're big as a cat. They're disgusting. Bugs, slugs, spiders, big spider. I've seen huge ones, and um, those are more likely to stay out when you board your home. I haven't seen one of those big spiders in a long time. They seem to kind of hang out in places that's just nasty, like apartment buildings, maybe like where the neighbors are really negative. There's a lot of fighting, um, abuse, trauma, like things like that, like really low vibe energy. They seem to hang out in those areas, the bigger ones, but the smaller ones will go anywhere. They don't seem to be a threat. They're just kind of annoying. Scorpions, the scorpion ones like to live inside of your body, like in your stomach area, especially if you have that that black sludge that I was talking about, more than likely you have like ants or scorpions living in your energy. And it can range from like not so bad to like a severe infestation. I've seen pretty bad ones. And then I've seen some where, oh, there's a couple here and there. So yeah, it's really important to keep your energy clean, guys, because these things do exist. Beetles, ants are they. There's never just one or two of those. There's like hordes of them, and they're small. They're not big like the slugs. The centipedes like to hang out on your spine, and I've pulled quite a few of these off of people. But those are just a few examples of parasites. So there's the bug ones, people in your life, slot forms, random spirits, um, and yeah, vam vampiric people who do it on purpose will can be an issue too, but that's really less common because there's not really that many people who know how to vampirize your energy on purpose. That's less common. But if you are being vampirized in any way by a parasite, it might cause physical ailments, constant tiredness, bad health all around. Your health can suffer from this. Racing thoughts, anxiety, depression, voices in your head that you just know that are not yours. Um, and this doesn't necessarily mean that you have parasites. It can also mean that there's stuck energy in your head. So like the voices in your head and the racing thoughts and stuff, that can also mean that there's just some stuck energy in your mind and you need to ground. So it's not always parasites. I will make that clear, but they can cause this. And if you have that clairvoyance and you understand that these parasites are there and you want to go in and look for them, then you can see them and pull them off people, pull them out of people, okay, and yourself and your family or whoever. Hold on, guys. Let's take a sip of water here. Implants. These are a very interesting subject as well. And I'm not going to pretend like, oh, I know exactly where they come from and who's doing it and what's going on. I don't. I just know that they're some kind of advanced technology and it's definitely interdimensional in nature. But I find these things in people. This is one of my most popular services. I get a lot of these because people will know like there's something blocking me, or if they're really psychic, I mean like there's something on my head. They can feel these things on their body, in their body, and then they come to me and I'm like, oh yeah, like that's this or that's that. And I can see it and pull it off of them. And they're like, fuck, I feel so much better. It's like, yeah, that is a implant that was put on you. So it's kind of like suppressing human abilities, advanced technology to stop your psychic abilities, stop your ability to remote view. I, if I am in a starting a client session and the client is open to my energy and I'm tapping in and I can't see anything, I'm like, okay, I must have an implant somewhere. So I'll like check myself. And sometimes I'll find this like metal helmet over my head so that I can't see energetically outside of my body. And I'm just like, okay. And then, but they're really easy to take off. And I just pull it off and then throw it. And then I tap back into the client and then I can see again. Like, it's not really something that's dangerous, but it is annoying and it's a nuisance and it keeps you stuck and um, stuck in the matrix. Basically, it keeps you stuck and tangled into the matrix instead of really um, on your spiritual side, your true self, your soul. It disconnects you from your soul and like connects you into it's like the matrix type idea. Okay. Um, I found some pretty interesting implants. I did find some implants in in people's chakras that I take those out all the time as well. Call it chakra implant removal because people will constantly be working on their chakras and trying to open them and nothing's happening. I will take the implants out of their chakras and their energy will open up. And this is something, where did I learn about that? It's something that me and my brother stumbled upon years ago. And I'm like, holy shit. Okay, so there's implants, there's this technology in our energy, and we're like pulling it off because we can see that stuff and so pulling it off and then noticing the difference and noticing the change and the way we felt and in our psychic abilities. I'm like, okay, there's implants in our chakra centers. And I'm like, holy shit, the chakras could be implants like themselves. Um, so when I pulled those out the first time, like all this energy just started flowing into my body. Like my fingers were tingling and my head was tingling and my toes. And it's like, holy, I just released a bunch of stuck energy in my chakra centers. And it changed everything. The Reiki started everything, but when I removed implants from my body, things advanced so much faster in my life. Like things just started shifting and changing. And because I started shifting and changing, and that's how you change your reality, you change yourself, you start shifting, your energy shifts, your outer world shifts very quickly. But yeah, they are a nuisance for sure. And yeah, like I said, this is one of my best selling services. Like I'm surprised how many people know about them, but people can see them, they can sense them in their body. They're just like, I feel like I have something stuck in my knee, or I feel like I have something stuck in my heart. And you go and look, and yeah, there's something stuck there. And a lot of the times though, it's not implants. It's like sometimes, I'd say sometimes it's not implants because I find things in the astral like knives in people's backs or just random astral debris like in their energy bodies that I pull out that aren't necessarily implants, but just random debris that went flying around because maybe this person doesn't have really good protections, doesn't put up shields every day, is empathetic, or does a lot of journeying in their sleep. So they get, like, when they're traveling, they get more debris in their energy. So it can be any and all of those things. See, is there anything else I want to say about implants? Um, And there's like debates about where they come from. Some people say it's the gray aliens, it's the short ones, the tall ones. It's like I don't care where they come from. I just take them out and protect myself, protect my home, and to not really go poking around into into that because as long as they're not in my space, like I don't give a shit. Like I'm not gonna go take on a horde of interdimensional beings. Like that's I don't know. I guess I'm more practical that way. Or if it's like, okay, I'm taking them out and taking precautions, but I'm not gonna go hunt them down and figure out who or what they are, blah blah blah, blah. Like I'm not gonna do that. So, and I mean, even if you do that, who knows if it's gonna be true? And like everybody has a different opinion about it. It's just pointless to me. It makes my head hurt. So I don't do it. So how does this all come together? You can use your clairvoyance to remove these things from people's energy and your own energy by seeing them and pulling them out in various ways and techniques. The changes are noticeable right away. Like there's never a time that I've removed an implant from myself or even another person where they weren't like, oh, that's so much better. Oh, I feel so much better. Like it's like immediate and they're like and if they have a bunch of parasites like oh I feel so much lighter and my stomach doesn't hurt anymore. Like it's immediate changes. Like this is not like oh I think I feel something. No, no, it's wow. And people seek out these services. Yes, these are services that people know about. I think in all the times that I've been doing parasite removal, did I get one guy who thought I was talking about physical parasites? Like, I don't know what he had going on, but I didn't realize it at the time. And I did the video and I did it for him and his wife or girlfriend or whatever. And he's like, she still has, I can't remember what he said. It was like lice or or something. I'm like, you have to use lice removal. Like, this is energy parasites, guy. Like, there's one guy in all the time I've been doing this who didn't understand that it was energetic parasites. So people are waking up and they're understanding that these things are real and they are inducents. So yeah. And I do it on myself and my family, like healing techniques. I do it on myself and my family when they let me. I have kids, so and teenagers. The more healing techniques that you can use for like after Reiki, or stuff that I do in my shop is like soul retrieval. That is something where I do work with a spirit to do that, but I also use my clairvoyance and I see where people are missing soul pieces and I put soul pieces in that they lost and I magnetize them. Like that's something that I would never know how to do if it wasn't for Reiki. Like just learning how energy works, learning how to magnetize energy and magnetize the client to their own energy, and things like that is how that was possible. Hmm. And if you learn to see in the astral and see your astral home, there's a gazillion different things that you could do with that, but also the goddess keys is an upgrade that I do where you can go into your astral. Like I've done this for myself. You can do this for yourself. And I have clients in my astral mastery program who have done it for themselves. You go into your astral, but that comes with seeing your astral, like remote viewing in your astral. You can find a key, which is an upgrade. It's the energetic upgrade, and it'll boost you and it'll shift things in your environment and in your life. And and if you can really see, you can know exactly what it's shifting and kind of read the symbology around that. That's why it's important to know some symbology as well. You don't have to know it all because I don't even know it all. Like I tell people when I do my goddess keys, I'm like, please Google stuff because I don't know the symbology for every little thing in your astral. Um, from memory. Like it's just not possible because every reading is different and has different objects, different colors, different scenes. Like it's everybody's energy is different. Everybody's astral energy is different. And the astral home is the energy around you that kind of manifests and you can remote view into that and you can change things and give yourself upgrades. Yeah, it's crazy. Like this is the kind of stuff that you can be creative with and create and do for clients and also do for yourself when you learn how to move energy and open your psychic gifts. Entanglements removal is something that I do that is very, very helpful. And energy entanglements. I actually just did a workshop on it in my group. It's about if you have a relationship with a toxic person for a while or for a long time, they can actually entangle their energy into yours, kind of like a nasty cord, only a little bit deeper. And what I do for people is untangle that and then pull it out. And it helps heal like PTSD. It helps them not vampirize you anymore. And like a whole slew of different things. Astral manipulation, that's what I'm talking about, like going into your astral home and like changing things and even getting the goddess keys, like learning that stuff with clairvoyance and remote viewing. It's like a whole other world out in there. It's all inside of you. And I mean, nobody talks about it. Planetary alignments and cleanses. I also do that. So I would say you don't really need planetary attunements to do it because you're already attuned to all the planets. Like you're a soul. So you have all of that energy. You have Saturn and Mars and like it's like all in your astrology. You don't necessarily need attunements to do this, but you can literally like go into somebody's energy and give them a planetary healing where you balance out their planetary energy. Like it's amazing. I think that's my last slide too. Oh no, I know that's right. So I did want to let you guys know about my Astral Mastery program. It used to be $14.99 when I was doing like a one chunk thing. Now I'm doing it for $97 a month. And that's all of the content, all the workshops, group calls, kind of like this one, and a group. And we do a lot of rituals. They're even starting to do rituals on their own, like they're doing one today. Because all the people in my group are leaders, they're healers, and they want their own business. Not all of them. Some of them are like, I'm in here to heal my family and myself, and like that works for them too. But they're practicing doing this stuff and like learning and breaking through fears that they had around being a leader and managing energy and managing other people's energy. They're bursting through those fears all of the time. And it's incredible. And I did just open a another membership, a low $17 membership. And this one is more like for beginners, like if you're just starting out and you're like, okay, I want to learn more about this stuff and maybe where I am and like self-awareness stuff and also some developing psychic abilities. This is my Pharaoh Witch membership. I don't do group calls like Zoom calls, but I do Q&As. And even if you are advanced, but you only want to pay $17 a month, you can come on the Q&As and ask me whatever you want. Like we can talk about it. Like I really want to keep it easy and open for everybody because this stuff is so important. And a lot of times it's the missing key to people's practices. It's the missing key for people is learning how to navigate energy in their own energy, to break through those subconscious fears and do what you want to do in life, to move on in life. Be like, okay, I don't like this anymore. Now what do I do? It kind of it's that kind of vibe and that kind of energy of just empowerment, moving up in the world, like leveling the fuck up. And when you're in these groups, like the energy is intense. I just started Feral Witch not that long ago. So the energy hasn't built up quite as much as an astral master. You're in that group, you don't even have to do anything. Like shit starts changing immediately. It's just the atmosphere. It's just a circle of people. It's incredible. So that's it for my slideshow. All right, let's stop share and hop on. See if anybody has any questions. Do you guys have any questions for me? You can ask in the chat or you can ask in video. That's fine. You guys asleep? It's nice.
Okay. Hey, sorry.
Yes.
I'm one of those people that has to do stuff while we're talking or while I was listening to you. Um, so I've been doing astral work since about 2006. I only kind of just got curious about having Reiki attunements done.
Yeah.
Um, One book on my radar is The Art of Psychic Reiki. I forget what the author's name is. I think it's Lisa something. But how do you go about your basic attunements? Because I've asked, various gods and spirits to do that sort of thing, but what do you like? Where do you start with that?
Do you mean how I do basic attunements for other people or
Or I mean, like, I don't really even understand. Like, do I can I do it for myself? Do I book with you or someone who just does it? Like, what?
oh,
Where
I
do
would
you even start with all this?
probably with that, I would probably have somebody do it for you.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily mean you have to take an entire class. I know they can be kind of expensive sometimes.
Yeah.
I used to do them. I don't really do them anymore because I just don't like doing it.
Okay.
It's just there's too many symbols, and I'm just like, I don't know. Oh God, okay. Like they make it really, really complicated. It's like you have to draw the symbols in like a certain direction and put it over here and then breathe into it while you're holding your breath. And it's like, oh my God, I can't. Like
Okay.
my ADHD
Um,
doesn't allow me,
I
but
just have an
I would
interest
definitely
in.
have somebody do it for you that does Reiki. I know um I haven't talked I know my brother does it. He would probably give you an Reiki to Enoch Petroselli. He would probably do it without a class. And I don't think he charges very much.
Okay.
So
I just wanted to. I'm interested in being able to do at least some of the distance stuff, but if there's a lot of visual symbols, I mean, I know how to do a lot of the removals you talked about in your slides. So this was all just, it was really interesting to see like kind of how Reiki can influence your abilities, but like, maybe I'll get someone else to do some attunements, but I don't know about um, if I'd be able to use it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So you don't, are you looking to get them for yourself? Did you say you had Reiki already or?
Okay, I'm feeling to articulate this because I have been doing a lot of, like astral work. I can deal with parasites, implants, all that stuff on myself as well as others. I have just started considering learning how to do a bunch of Reiki. How
Oh, I think I lost.
astral stuff for almost 20.
Oh, you keep breaking up.
Yeah, you know what? I'll just message you this because
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, just shoot me a message. I think, yeah, we're Facebook friends.
yeah, I'll just shoot you a message. Because if my Wi-Fi is not going to cooperate, then there's no point.
Yeah, it's just gonna leave us more confused, at least me on my end.
All right. Well, great presentation and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
Joanne, did you have any more questions?
Yeah,
Hi.
I was, hey, what's up, girlfriend? Ooh, I lost you.
I'm still here.
I can't. All right, there you are. I'm like, where'd you go? Oh, it opened up the chat. Don't mind me. I'm doing laundry and I'm a mess. But so that what does that 97 level cover?
It covers all of the workshops. There's like 14 mods now, and I do workshops occasionally still, like once or twice a month. We do rituals together, group Q&As, and I don't do group Q&As every week because I'll post on the Discord and be like, you guys have any questions? Do you want to have a Q&A? And a lot of times people are like, no questions today. And so like some weeks we skip, but yeah, like live group calls like this and other people on there. And there's like and they just started to do their own rituals together. They're doing one today. I'm so proud.
That's awesome.
I
You need to
know.
come on my podcast. Anyways, yeah, you need to come inside the sacred circle with me and Jim.
I
Uh,
should.
and talk about this. Absolutely. Um, but I'm looking more for myself to open up some of the other areas you talked about. I mean, I'm not a beginner, definitely not at that
Right, yeah.
level, but to me, it's more, I guess, how to control it and work it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying? I know and feel these things, but somehow I don't see, I probably have those things that you're talking about that you have to pull off of me.
Probably. A lot of people do. Especially powerful people. Like they'll get them a lot.
Yeah, I feel a lot of times I feel like my third eye is just like, and where I'm on the public a lot on the podcast, I think I pick up a lot from the collective in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm thinking more and something that I can add into my practice because I want to start building my own type of holistic mind, body, spirit type of practice. I don't want to do the clinical route. I still want to do what I do, but I want to do it on a holistic level.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking this might be able to help me.
Yeah, it would. What is it that you do already? I'm sorry.
I have a master's in clinical psychology. I specialize in trauma, PTSD, and crisis
Oh,
intervention.
oh my God. It's perfect for you. Yeah, it is. It's perfect. I
And I
do.
work with a lot of, people. I work with a lot of at-risk youth. I've worked with some law enforcement people that have gone through trauma. Um, But right now I do it on a volunteer level because if I want to do it clinically, I have to accrue clinical hours. And here where I live in the middle of nowhere, there's nobody that has a high enough certification to sponsor me.
Oh,
So what I'm talking with my school right now because I'm thinking if I can get my national license because New Hampshire requires its own license. There's the MS something, which is a national. It's theoretically it's supposed to work anywhere, and then some states like New Hampshire have their own license. It's all about money,
ugh,
and yeah, and I'm like, this is just and they're expensive. It's not cheap, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And they don't have up here. Up here, they have a lot of what they call LDACs, which is licensed drug and alcohol counselors, but they license under a different board because they have tiers. You could be a 6 month certificate and be some type of counselor. You could have a 2 year degree, a 4 year degree, all the way up to your doctorate. So they have their own licensing board. I don't want to be an LDAC. Um, I'm on the same board as social workers and psychologists. We're together in our own board. And then if I want to work with the schools, I have to take not only my psychology license, but I have to take the teaching license too, because I'm working with kids. And I really don't want to work with the schools. I've switched to psychology to get away from that. So, see where I'm at?
Yeah.
I'm trying to build something workable. Don't even really know what I'm trying to build, but
Like my mind is like racing with all this, with
yeah,
all
I
the
know. It's a
opportunities,
lot.
like all the opportunities that would be open to you, like using some of my techniques and then being like, I have a master's in psychology. Like you can do this stuff on people without them even knowing it. So you don't have to be like, oh, I'm going in and removing your implants, or I'm going into your astral and I'm doing this. Be like, no, I'm just doing some energy healing on you.
Yep.
Meanwhile, you're in the astral pulling them out of a cave because they've locked themselves in a cave. A lot of PTSD people,
Yes.
when I go into their energy, they're like hoarded in a cave like this, and they're like, and you just need to take them and grab them out. It's kind of like you're basically like tapping into their subconscious.
And
Um,
I've been working with Breege Burke
hmm,
at her ISFM, getting certified through there. And she was like, you just need to get some type of certificate that allows you to work with the people so you don't have to go the clinical route. You know what I mean?
mhm.
And I'm thinking this might fit that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That dynamic.
yeah, for real. Yeah, you could try.
Because, I could do it as a holistic mind, body, spiritual counseling, and you know what I mean? Like work it all because I don't necessarily, I'm really good at assessing and diagnosing, but it's not going to work if you don't work on the mind, the body, and the spirit. You have to work on all three aspects. And not that I'm downing therapy, obviously, because I'm a therapist, but if you're coming to me and still going out and drinking a 12 pack every night at the bar and, doing blow or whatever, and you're, fuck the world mentality, you're not really going to get far, right? You got to kind of change your whole lifestyle.
Yeah, and to do that, you have to get to like the root of the problem. And you don't even have to. I personally, I mean, I like therapy, but when talking about your problems every day and going back into like PTSD moments and all that stuff, I hate when therapists do that though, because it's like, oh God, you're just making them relive it over and over again and they're stuck in there. Um,
Yeah, that's not the well, I'm like more of a Jungian school.
yeah.
Um, so I don't really go that route. I just have conversations with people. And a lot of it, believe it or not, starts with just asking them, how was your day? And they start talking and they'll tell me that, well, how did that make you feel? Well, it made me feel, I felt like crap or whatever. And then next thing I'll be like, gee, I'm sorry, you went through that. And they're like, well, it's not your fault. I'm like, no, but good to be validated, right? And a lot of times it opens up. And then halfway through the conversation, they'll be like, well, when I was 5 years old, this happened to me. And they'll like start opening up about these like like really intense traumas that they've undergone.
Mhm.
And, then it starts flowing. But I don't do it the traditional way. I tell people, if you're looking for somebody to just talk at and agree with you, I'm not your gal. you know, you have to do some work. I'm the co-pilot, and I'm helping you dig out what's inside of you, to help you move forward.
I think that astral work and your understanding of psychology put together would be killer. Like, there's so much stuff that you could do once you understand the dynamics of how it works and how like the subconscious works and how people are like, oh, I want to get better, but then they're out doing drugs, like, or they're overeating, or whatever habits that they or
Yeah.
cycle they're
Well,
in.
it manifests exactly. That trauma is going to hide somewhere else, whether it be an eating disorder,
Yeah.
it's going to move in your body. I've just started studying somatic healing, which is where it goes in your body and hides. And, I might have somebody do some Tai Chi or some meditation, or, it's like a lifestyle. It's a whole package deal kind of thing.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
somatic
we're going to
healing
work
like
on your
every day.
mind, but we're going to help you reassess your life.
Right. And they're not even going to do that unless they're not going to want to do that. They're going to say they want to do that, but then they're stuck and
Yeah,
I don't know why I do the things I do. So like really digging into their energy helps you kind of unblock that and they don't even know it's happening. So,
that's awesome.
like pulling them out of a cave or
Yeah.
I do the goddess keys a lot for people and I see them as children quite a bit. Like I'll go into their house, I'll go find them, but they're like a little kid
Well,
because they have some childhood trauma that's going on. And so when I do my thing and I do the energy, then I watch them kind of grow up and like
yeah,
and then they get tall and the little boy or little girl disappears and it's like holy shit, that's like some intense healing. And
yeah.
people will message me like a year or like years later and be like, thank you, you changed my life. This happened from like a 15-minute session.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah, and it's real. And you just have to be confident that you're doing it and confident in your abilities. But yeah, I think like your knowledge of psychology and stuff, because I'm not a psychologist. Like I took some psychology in school, so I understand a few things. So my creativity is kind of limited in that because of the knowledge. Where you have that knowledge, your creativity, I mean, put it together and it's like, holy crap, it would be
I
amazing.
know. I want to combine my magical self with my psyche self. you
Yeah,
know what I
that would
mean?
be amazing. Yeah. Yeah, for real. And they could just be sitting there with you and you could be like going into their energy and they don't even know it, you know?
I'll know what's going on. Can't lie to me. But so what do you recommend a person in my situation do? Because obviously a beginner thing, I'm gonna get bored. I'll tell you right now. I'll be like, oh, I already know that.
Yeah, it's more a lot of mindset stuff in the Pharaoh Witch. So I would definitely go with Astral Mastery for sure.
okay. And that's 97 flat, or does it continue on? Like,
It's 97 a month, but you could probably get through all the material. I mean, I don't recommend rushing through it, but
no,
because some people come on and they binge it. You're missing stuff. Go back.
that's sensory
Go back.
overload. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. My coping strategy is studying.
You could probably binge it in a month, but
Yeah, but I want to do it right. You know what I mean?
yeah, I would
I
definitely
want to
not
get the
recommend
most,
that.
I want to be able to work it and use it and put it into play.
Yeah, in the group, people are really helpful too. A few of them been there a while, and they are very knowledgeable. Like, about like, why do you even here? You guys are awesome. So
That's good.
very
So
helpful as
they
well.
is where can I is this on Patreon? Where is it? Is it on?
No, I have it on Kajabi. I can send you the link.
Yeah, I want to. Is there a thing that shows what's in the the tiers that describes the course? Like a
Mhm.
a syllabus or whatever I can look at?
Yeah, I
I
can
don't know what you guys call it in the Reiki world, but in college we call it a syllabus, course outline. Here
yeah,
we
I
go.
don't yes, yeah, I can send you screenshots of it because I don't think it comes up when I don't think it comes up on the link. Yeah, I'm just writing myself a note to send you the screenshots. Send screenshots. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, well, what I'll do is I'll open up a group chat with you anyway, and
Okay.
I'll throw you some dates for inside the sacred circle. I have an opening, and you can talk about this on there. You'll put your links you want us to post in there to all this stuff,
Okay.
and you'll get a really broad audience. So, um, I think I have a date coming up in February that I need filled if you want to jump on that one. And it's just an hour. It's nothing major. It's me and Jim. And it's pretty fun.
So it'll
Well,
be
you've
two of
seen
you
some of
and
my podcasts.
you'll
We're
be
not
asking me questions.
huh?
So there's two of you and you'll be asking me questions.
Yeah, sometimes the audience has questions too.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I
But
love
mostly
that.
we'll ask you, like, we'd be like, hey, Sarah, tell us a little bit about yourself. And, and then we'll ask you about your program and what it does and, the Reiki attunement and the process to do this. Because what Inside the Sacred Circle is, it is a platform where people talk about their practices for seekers and people that are looking to follow a path or a tradition. And it's credible resources and data to set them on their way. Like, what does it take to be a Reiki master? The course that we're talking about, the $97 one. What do you need to do? And these type of things. And
Great,
in
that'd be
that
awesome.
process, you get to advertise yourself. It's not which is best, but
Yeah,
she
no,
fucked
that
me
sounds
over.
great.
She fucked me over, that bitch.
Really?
Oh my God, yeah. She had me do all that work and then she didn't pay her Zoom bill and told everybody that Zoom crashed and she couldn't do it. And
Oh, so that's what's really happened because I was gonna do a Zoom presentation and
and then she wanted people to send her their presentations
yes, I remember
and then
that.
she was gonna put them on her friggin' Gumroad website or something and charge people for them. I told people, I'm like, don't send her your stuff.
No, that's stealing. What the fuck?
Yeah. And
Oh,
then,
you
those
guys do all
spotlight
the work.
interviews I was doing, those
Huh?
spotlight interviews,
Yeah.
that was my original platform, Spotlights. She
Uh-huh.
took the name and called her lawyer and had him put it under Witches Fest. And then she took the platform and turned it into her own magical witchy world and was telling me, oh, you need to do a mental health section. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Right.
Oh my
And
God.
and I was like, whatever. I knew she was blown, I knew at that point that she just wasn't kosher. So I licked my wounds. I didn't say a word. I didn't bash her online. I didn't do any of that stuff. I just went underground and then I started with Joyful Empowerment with Hercules that I do on Blog Talk. Well, it's going to be on Zoom now, but and on Mount Olympus Radio. And then I started Inside the Sacred Circle on my own with Jim. We teamed together, and because he's like my bestie, and we made our own thing, and we're kicking it. She gets 10 views to my 500, so
Yay. Awesome. Yeah, that's really
so
fun.
whatever.
I
Yeah,
don't
people are
understand.
unbelievable.
I'm glad I didn't
She
send her
used me so
anything.
bad. All that work I did, not even so much as a thank you. Like,
How did you even meet her?
I met her through Christian Day, and she was like, and it was pandemic, and I had
Mhm.
just lost my dad, and I needed something to do with myself, and I was like, oh, let me check this out. You know what I mean? And it actually turned out good because that's how I met Hercules, which started the whole podcast thing. And I helped on the first one, and I was a moderator. And then when the next one came, she wanted me to basically handle that whole online platform
Oh,
and I got people for her. I got you. I got like that whole list of people she had came from me. And her whole first year guest list, when she actually had some views, came from me. She used my guest list. Yeah, and what she did was she put it all under Witches Fest, so I couldn't use it.
Ah, I'm
So
sorry.
I was like, okay, whatever, enjoy yourself. And I just did my own thing. I created a new platform. I kept networking with people.
Good. Okay. I'm glad you didn't get involved in that then, because I was in the chat for them to do Witch TV or whatever, and then it just kind of died out, and I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah, why are you going to make money for her? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I just kind of had a weird feeling, so I didn't really chase it too much. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't.
I called her a bargain basement witch. Bargain basement witches. Kick them in the basement.
Good place for him.
I won't bash her publicly. I won't, you're my friend, so I'm telling you, but I mean, I won't recommend her. She'll never be on one of my shows. And all she can, and I didn't even delete her as a friend. I restricted a lot of what she sees on my feed, but I gladly publicly post every fucking episode and everything that I do and every new achievement that I have so she can choke on it
Good.
because I am kind of bitchy in that kind of way.
Good for you. I love it.
I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. Now you're going to eat your shit. And I had to, after 2021, 2022, it was like the grand culling of people, Sarah. I cut out so many people in my life. Still
Same.
doing it. Not
Same.
as massive, but still doing it.
Yeah, that's true. Damn, so have I.
Oh, have you heard of that? Have you heard from
Sorry.
Julie Joy Tribe at all?
No,
I don't know how she's doing, and she kind of disappeared off the radar.
who's that?
Remember that Julie, whatever her name is, kind of heavy set girl? She was on the farm in Rumford or whatever.
Lived on a farm in Rumford.
Yeah, she had the tattoo on her forehead.
I don't think I had an interaction with that person.
She was very popular in Maine. I don't know. She was always with that fairy chick there, Rena Faye or whatever. I don't know.
I don't
But I
know.
thought you were friends with her too, Julie Joy Tribe.
Maybe I was. I have a lot of friends on my friends list that I don't even know who the fuck they are. So I just and I
Yeah.
to scroll too much.
No, I cut a lot of people off. It's finally slowed down a bit, but I'm still weed. There's still a few that get through.
Yeah, it's in the energy lately.
It sucks, but you're doing phenomenally well, so that's good.
Yeah, it gets kind of lonely after you cut so many people off.
Yeah, it does.
Because I had a friend who was like a best friend, and I cut her off, and then I've cut
Mm.
other people in my family off. Like it's like
Oh, don't even go to, yeah, my family shit is like unbelievable right now.
so yeah, I've been going through the same things, and I've heard that from my clients too. So I think it's in the air. There's just a lot of
Oh
um
God, we're still recording. Well, everybody,
detoxifying.
now you
Oh,
know
I'll
my stuff.
I'll cut that out. I'll cut it out.
But
Nobody
no,
in here.
seriously though,